Joining us now is John Sopko. He has served in the distinguished and unique role of the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction since 2012. Sir, thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate your time.
It's a pleasure to be here and to see you again, Rachel.
You too. You too. Well, first of all, I hope this is not impertinent of me, but knowing what I know of you, I would like to give you a chance to sound off a little bit with what you know about Afghanistan all these years studying the American project there and the American experience there. I have found myself wondering if you are frustrated now by the public finally paying attention now, by the news coverage of the departure and its consequences, by how we are talking about this now as a country. Do you feel like there are fundamental things we are missing or that we're getting wrong?
Well, Rachel, you can't have spent as much time as I did and met as many Afghans and Americans who served over there, and Americans who got hurt and who died, and not feel something about it, and it's not a positive feeling. I'm crushed by seeing the events. I've spent a lot of time over the last number of weeks, and my staff has, trying to get our American SIGAR employees out, and now we're still trying to get our Afghan colleagues who helped us out. And it's been very frustrating, and it's also very disturbing. But, you know, the job of an IG is not to make friends. A good IG speaks truth to power, and I think that's what we've done. We're a bit frustrated, and I'm a bit frustrated that after all these reports we've written, that people are now saying that they're surprised at the outcome of the Afghan security forces. We've been identifying serious problems with their capability, and we have been warning our government and Congress and anybody who would listen that they were not able to function by themselves. Now, we didn't predict when they were going to collapse. I think we were all a bit surprised by that, but no one should be surprised by this. Now's not the time really for finger pointing. I think now's the time to obviously get all the Americans out and get out any Afghan who wants to get out. But I think at some point, and we need to look at these lessons learned reports that we created, and particularly this last one, and try to make things better. The bottom line of our report, as you highlighted so succinctly, more succinct than I can, is that we were totally unprepared for this. And we haven't learned the lessons of Vietnam. If anything, after Vietnam, we said we're never going to do it, and we cut all of the capabilities to do these type of reconstruction events or activities in a war zone. And lo and behold, we said we're never going to do it again. We did it in Iraq. We did it in Afghanistan. We've done it 3 times in the last 50 years. And all 3 times, it's been pretty poorly handled. And we're doing something similar to this, but at a smaller scale. But as our report says, it's a slippery slope before a small scale becomes a big scale. We're doing it in a number of countries in Afghanistan and in Africa. And I've heard people talking about sending troops and sending massive aid similarly to a war-torn or not safe country of Haiti that may deserve it. But if we do it in Haiti or these other countries without learning the lessons, we are going to repeat the same mistakes. And that's what this report is all about. It's trying to look forward to improve how we do things like this.
And when you step back from this, from your work, from what you have seen, and from all these quarterly reports, I mean, I feel like I've read a dozen of them at least by now. I read them every time they come out. When you step back from that, do you feel like, for Americans with a short attention span, for Americans who want easier answers to things, that the conclusion ought to be the easy conclusion, which is that Reconstruction never works, it never can work, and we should never try it? Or is the lesson that we need to learn that we need to scope it more carefully. We need to monitor it in more specific ways, and that there are lessons to be learned about how to do it in a way that works and meets our objectives, that doesn't leave us with calamity at the end and so disheartened about the sacrifice.
It's the latter, Rachel. And the problem is, if we ignore it, it ignores the fact that at some time in the future, we will confront a country where it's for our national security, we're going to have to do something like we did in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Vietnam. So we should face that, and we should prepare for it. I'm not saying spend billions of dollars in creating a new entity. What I'm saying is learn the lessons, train for it, understand, collect names, get people ready. We have a whole series of recommendations in that area. The UK has done something like that to some extent, a smaller extent, but that's what we should do, rather than say we're never going to do it again. You know, we've had too much happy talk over the last 20 years, and too much spinning. You know, and I don't know how many generals have said we're turning the corner. And, you know, it's like turning, we went 360, it's like a top spinning. We have to stop lying and gild to the American people and the American taxpayer and to Congress, and stop gilding the lily. Let's face the reality of the last 20 years and the reality on the ground right now.